We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are lots of sounds that you could hear. You could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. This message is paid for by NHTSA.
Hell yeah.
All right.
That's the sound right there. Hell yeah.
What is going on, everybody? God. Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the video game industry. Join us every Thursday for a discussion about the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals alongside Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Van Aken, and today I'm joined by Marcus Stewart. How you doing, Marcus?
I am doing awesomely.
Yeah?
I made that word up for you.
Marcus, I'm going to come back to you in a second after we introduce Kyle Hilliard. Hello, Kyle. How are you? Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I don't have any made-up words ready to go, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, to be fair, all words are made up.
Good point.
Yeah, like what is we can't get into this, but like who's the guy at, what is it? Is it Merriam-Webster? Merriam-Webster?
Miriam, yeah.
Who's the guy over there that's like, yeah, this is a word now? Because I was
it's
trying to put a
true.
word in a magazine feature last issue. I was like, this is a word. Like I should just be able to use it. But you know, the guy.
I think it's just an AI. I think Miriam
is it just an algorithm now?
Probably.
Yeah.
I had a moment recently where someone misused they wrote burrow, like dig, but they spelled it like a borough, like a
Neighborhood?
a group of homes, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's so stupid. I can't believe they messed that up. And then I was like, why does it matter? Like, why does that to me signal someone being bad at like writing when it's like, like they're just arrangement of symbols. Like they
You knew what they were saying. It conveyed. You knew exactly what they were talking about.
I mean, tell that to every internet comment. It's like, as bad as people are at writing, they sure like to point out the slightest mistake.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was just the thing. I caught myself. I mean, I'm an editor. It's our job, right, to like read these things and correct them. But it's like, why do we take these rules so seriously, just as a society, you guys? Right? Let's
Yeah.
get into it. Let's get into it.
Let's not. Let's get into Marcus. Marcus, you're buying a new PC. You told me before we started this show.
Yeah, I'm shopping. I've opened the supermarket, and I'm stepping inside with my cart.
Yeah. Is this purely for work, or are you going to become a PC gamer?
It's mostly for work, but I mean, it's sort of like I'm going to benefit from it because it's going to be able to play PC games better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use it, but it's like work is the main motivation. Yes.
Are there any games that you haven't been able to play on console? I mean, you have a computer, like you can play games.
Yeah.
But are there any games that you're like, oh, I've always wanted to try that on a nice PC?
No.
To see how it looks. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
A lot of that is like I grew up a console gamer.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
fair.
that was all I knew. And I didn't even have a PC in my house growing up. Like I legitimately, I didn't get my own computer to myself until it was a graduation gift from high school.
Oh,
so
wow.
I went
Yeah.
my entire teens. And even then it was still more of like a novelty of like, wow, I have this to myself. Before I would go to the computer lab or, you know, the library or just other people. But yeah, so I just never I've always had the opposite of like, oh, that's only on PC. I wish I could play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up, but yeah, not really the other way. Even hearing from people that were like, oh, this game runs better on PC, is frame rate or whatever it is. I didn't understand what frame rate was until probably like late 20s, like when it actually became important in the console space because consoles caught up to where like, hey, we can do that now.
The late 1920s.
Like, oh, now I can notice and I can care. I still don't care like a ton, but it's nice. But honestly, before, if you put them side by side, like 30 and 60, I was like, I can't tell. I don't know why are people mad about this?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I still ask why people are mad about this. When
I
people
can
get mad
tell,
about
but
it,
that's also probably why I'm the video guy, because I can see the difference.
it's pertinent to you. I mean, video, of course. You know. Me, I'm just a dumb dude that just plays video games.
At the end of the
It's on
day,
my
that's
business
what
card, by the
unites
way.
us all, you know? Okay. Well, I was going to go into a whole segment, but Mark was like, nope, no curiosity. I was going to see if you were interested in, checking out Ray Traced Witcher 3. That's what I did. That's honestly what I did when I first got my
It'd be more
nice
like
PC.
I fire it up just to go, oh, this is what people talk about. And
Okay, and then close out.
Yeah, I'm not going to replay The Witcher 3. I love that game, but I'm not going to. Yeah.
That question that you prompted there, it does mark like, it's like, wait, are there truly PC exclusives these days? I mean, I guess World of Warcraft.
It's
Is that
really
a
like
big
limited
one?
time exclusives these. I mean, yeah, I guess WoW. Not. I was gonna say FF14,
StarCraft
but no.
2.
I feel like it's
Finally
more
go for
Yeah.
StarCraft 2, I guess.
Like I feel like RTSs still tend to be PC exclusive because
Or
just
just
from what I
better
understand-
on PC. Yeah.
Yeah, or like
CS:GO.
No,
Yeah.
well,
There were
it's
Counter Strikes on
released
Xbox in the past.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Can
mean,
you
it's
actually find
probably-
games?
I'm guessing they've abandoned that version more or less, right? Servers are probably
Dota,
still
League of
live.
Legends. Yeah, I
there
guess
you go.
MOBA. Like those
I feel
kind
like
of
it's only
MOBAs.
exclusive if it's like an early access. We're like, hey, we're going to be in early access for the first year, so you can only play it on Steam or
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, eventually
Yeah,
everybody wants to go to
Hades
consoles
too.
for that market share.
Yeah,
Hades 2 earlier. But then there's also the thing, you had a PC, you're just looking to sort of upgrade is kind of
yeah. It's just like, hey, streams can be better, and I can
Yeah.
play a wider selection of games on PC, and because we get a lot of PC only codes,
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I have to turn stuff down because I'm like, my PC will melt if I try to play this demo, so I'm gonna have to pass this off to someone else.
Yeah.
Just make sure you write it all off on your taxes, Mark. It's very important.
Yeah, and then you'll spend 2 hours in your taxes getting all your deductions, and then it'll say, "Oh, just do the standard deduction." It's like, oh, thanks. Why did I waste my time on this?
Fun.
Yeah. This is a video game podcast. Welcome, new listeners. Just at the top of the show, just a heads up. If you want to purchase physical, individual issues of Game Informer, go over to GameStop.com/Game Informer. It's a great way to support us. If you don't have a subscription already and you just want to dip your toes in the water, pick up an issue. We've got our last 6 or 7 issues are available to purchase there for $5.99 a piece. It's a great way to support us and show the folks above that you like us and all that fun stuff. And just getting physical media in the mail. I bought issue 130 something. I bought a Game Informer on eBay from May 2004 this last week, and it arrived in the mail. It was the Halo 2 cover. That was the first cover I vividly remember reading, and I opened it up and I was like, I remember this cover story. And I wanted to add it to my collection because I love Halo 2. I obviously love Game Informer. But anyways, let's get into the show. This week we're going to be talking about the games we're looking forward to for the rest of 2023. Last week, Marcus and I sat down, kind of went through the first 6 months of the year and talked about highlights. We tried to spotlight some games that maybe should get more love than we feel they have, that kind of thing. And now we're kind of going to look ahead at games we have not played for the most part, outside of like maybe previews here and there. And just kind of talk about what's getting us excited, what if there's anything that we are maybe hesitant about or curious about or whatever. So yeah, I guess we're just going to go over to GameInformer.com/2023, and you'll see this big splash image and know you're in the right place. It is our 2023 release date calendar for video viewers, of course. So let's start in, I guess, July. Last week we kind of ended in, Kyle, I'm going to throw this to you for a second. If you want to talk about it later, you can. But Everybody Want to Switch is actually at the end of this calendar on June 30th, and we didn't get that far last week. Is this something that the rest of us should run out to the stores and pick up? Is it good?
Okay. It's a party game, right? Like you're not going to go, I'm not going to say you need to go pick up Everybody 1-2 Switch, man. Like you're going to have a blast by yourself, right? You're not. You're just not going to enjoy it by yourself. Now, but that being said, I played like an hour and a half this weekend with my kiddo. Like we played a 20-minute round, and then we played a 40-minute round. And we had some good laughs and some good times. Like there was a couple of games. There's one I tweeted about. I jokingly called it like the scariest horror protagonist of the year, where it's like, did you guys watch Squid Game on Netflix?
Yeah.
Like the red light green light game, right? Which is like a familiar childhood game, right?
And now forever ruined.
You're honestly, yeah. So they have that in the game, and the idea is like you hold the Joy-Con in front of you, and you kind of have to like shake your shoulders as if you're walking. And there's this like kid who will be like, when I turn around, stop, and then you have to like hold the controller as still as possible, or you lose.
Yeah.
And like if you're moving the controller too much when it's turned around, you get like kicked back to the beginning. And like that was actually, we had a lot of good laughs with that, and that was fun because like the animation of the kid, it's just like a photograph of a child. It's not like an animated kid, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like, red light green light has always been fun. Like you don't need Joy-Cons to play that game. It's literally the same thing, except now you have a thing that vibrates to let you know when you move. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not really, what is it adding to what was already like, it's 90% of that game is already, you can do that anytime.
Totally. And it's like, what it is it just gives you sort of a conductor for it, right? The game like acts as a conductor for you, which is like kind of fun. And there was like another one where we had to hide, it was like hide and seek with Joy-Cons. So like my kid had to like close her eyes for a while, and then I hid the Joy-Con somewhere, and then she could press buttons on her Joy-Con to make my Joy-Con vibrate so she could hear it. And like what I did is I like put it on under pillows because like I knew that was the game. I was like, I'm gonna make it so you can't hear it, you know?
Yeah.
And so but what happened was like our cat was like really interested in this pillow that kept making little subtle vibrations. So the cat like totally betrayed me. I can't believe you did this to me, Keo. Where my daughter found the Joy-Con, and then she hid hers when it was her turn. She put it in like a jar. And so when I pressed the like vibrate button on her Joy-Con, it like shook and was like really loud, like clattering noise. But, like I found it right away. Nice. So like you kind of like make your own fun with the sort of framework of what this game provides. You know, like the fun is like me and my daughter like trying to think of ways to outsmart each other by hiding Joy-Cons around, or like playing a jump rope game where like we're both getting exhausted and our calves hurt because we're like trying to jump rope for so long, and that's kind of like fun and silly. So in that sense, like there's some fun to be had here. It is a solid party game. It is like if you play a lot of Jackbox and you love playing Jackbox, like you could throw everybody 1-2 switch into that rotation, and I think you would have a good time because it does a good job of just like having you stand up and do silly things. Like I imagine, I think WarioWare optimistically is probably going to be the better version of that later this year, especially considering like the games are going to be a lot shorter. Because that was like the problem we ran into is like I was like, these games are like too long. Like I don't want to play this anymore.
It's like you're tired.
Yeah, like it was funny. There's like a roulette where you choose games, and both her and I were like, we cannot choose like the sort of squats game. Like do not choose that game because like we've been playing for an hour. We're like exhausted. And when the roulette wheel like landed on the squats, we were almost kind of like, do we even want to keep going with this? Like this is just like too much.
So this doubles as an exercise game.
I mean, it kind of, it like honestly, there were like we had to do jump ropes and squats and like all kinds of weird
They
stuff.
Trojan horse this.
Also,
and there was one where we had to like summon an alien by like putting our hands up in the air to like a rhythm, and then like the alien is like this little CGI alien that just looks kind of horrifying in its own way.
So for the video viewers, we're watching the first Look Party Nintendo Switch trailer.
Yeah.
And I thought these are all actors. This is my friend Kennedy, Cozy Games. Like these are all, I guess, creators.
Oh really? I mean, I certainly didn't recognize anybody.
Yeah, I was like, what? Who is that? She's a big TikToker.
Wait, or is she playing the game?
Yeah,
like,
so they invited what I imagine are. Is this Quackity?
I thought you meant the actors in the game. Because there's a lot of real actors in the game. Right. Okay. So that's
I'm talking about the trailer on YouTube. It just threw me off.
Okay, that's fun.
Because in all their commercials, it's like I'm expecting, Sorry to go on a tangent. I just was like,
no, you're fine.
I was like, what?
Making sure I interpret.
I know that person.
Right.
That's funny.
But I like my overall impressions are like honestly kind of positive. Like it was like a fun party game that gets you up and doing weird things with the Joy-Con, which is like way overdue. Like I don't know why there wasn't more weird for all the things Joy-Con can do with its like 3D HD rumble and like
Yeah.
the noises it can make and the like the different and it has like a sensor on the front. Like we should have more WarioWare style, like, hey, use the Joy-Con in weird ways to play these games.
Sure.
And this had that. It's like I kind of went in expecting a disaster, and I was like, I ended up having some laughs. And it's like a game that I'll keep installed on my Switch for when my kid has friends over and they'll like play it together. But it's like, I mean, it's not one I don't think I'm going to be like, hey family, do you guys want to play some Everybody 1-2 Switch? Like, should we throw down on some 1-2 Switch?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But it's everybody, not just me. You guys have to play.
Exactly. But
I asked originally
tier of like party game,
because the rumor was it's been done for a while. Nintendo was not confident with it, and so they were just kind of sitting on it.
Yeah,
so
Star Fox 2 of party games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Imran Khan wrote a good story at Fanbyte about.
That's where it was. Yeah.
Yeah, about like the
we've talked about this on the show already. Yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah.
But I think it's like $30, so it's not like this. I think when 1-2 Switch came out, I think it was like a $60 or $50 game, like alongside the launch.
This was a launch game. Yeah,
it was like crazy to see that next to like Breath of the Wild for like the same price, and I'm like, are we insane here? Like, what's happening? So like, I'm happy to see that at like a lower price point. I think that's the right call. But yeah, walk, don't run to Everybody 1-2 Switch.
You guys remember, Kyle, you reminded me when you were saying you want more stuff that use the Joy-Cons in weird ways. Remember Johann Sebastian's Joust? That like really fun party game that was on Steam and PlayStation.
Yeah, I played the PlayStation version of like.
Me too.
Yeah.
My old roommates when I was in college, we played that quite a bit and made a lot of never broke anything, but definitely made a mess of my living room, throwing pillows, trying to sabotage each other. And that seems like that's like tailor made for Switch. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't been like brought over at this point.
Yeah, that's a great point. Oh, one thing that Everybody 1-2 Switch does that I like is when you start the game, it asks you like, is it okay to make like noise? Right, like if you're basically what it's saying, it's like if you live in an apartment above people, we won't pick games where you're stomping and jumping around.
Oh, okay.
But if you're fine, like then we'll just give you those games as well. And I was like, I appreciate them thinking about that sort of small detail.
Yeah.
Remember Ring Fit Adventure did the same thing because I bought that and I live on the top floor of my apartment building, so that was a nice option to have.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into July, I guess. We talked about 2 weeks ago now, Pikmin 4. You were enjoying that, Kyle. I know that's a big one this month, but I guess
we have more to say on it soon.
Okay, sure.
But hey, you know what? In terms of games that are coming out, you guys, I'm excited about Pikmin 4. I'm looking forward to playing that game.
All right. I feel like this month for me, I know Legend of Heroes RPG fans are very much looking forward to Trails into Reverie. Cam Hawkins reviewed that for us, and I know it's supposed to be like from what I understand, like the apex of that storyline for the last several years.
And by that you mean 20.
Yeah, right.
It's like the 11th one of these, I believe.
There's a lot.
Something like that.
Truth be told, it is a blind spot for me, but
same.
We will have a review. If it's not already up on the site, it's coming. And Cam Hawkins, who is a sicko with the Legend of Heroes.
Yeah, it is on the site. They gave it an 8.75.
Okay, there you go.
Trails of Reverie is the last time we see most of these beloved characters. It serves as a terrific send-off, they say.
Yeah. So I'm personally not going to be playing that one just because, this is one of those games where you definitely need to play the previous ones to play this one. So that's kind of not on my list, but I did want to highlight it. So there's a lot of games on this list, listeners, that we just have this is like a big product page that our production team and website team and all of the masterminds behind Game Informer add and update, and we do too. We occasionally update these SKUs, but you get in these situations where you realize, they're porting Mordhau to next gen to consoles. Period.
Yeah, that was recently announced actually.
Was it? I missed that. I was
the one that updated that SKU.
I really like Mordhau. I played it a lot on PC when it first came out. and that's super cool that it's coming to consoles. Anyone here excited for Oxenfree 2? I admittedly haven't played the first one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like doing cartwheels, but I'm gonna play it. I like the first game, and I liked After Party enough.
That's fair.
So like, yeah, I'm down for like a new night school game.
Yeah, I think the game I'm most excited for this month actually is Viewfinder.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, I've been following that game on Twitter for so long. It was one of those screenshot Saturday entries that just blew me away. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. It's a puzzle game where you are you play. It's a POV puzzle game. So you're playing this person with this first person controller with a camera, and you are snapping photos of the environment and printing out Polaroids and holding them up at eye level to the environment, and then superimposing them onto the environment to then open up new platforms and paths to reach previously inaccessible areas. And there's whatever technical art magic is going on behind the scenes. I think this is being made in Unity. I definitely recommend going and following the developer on social media because they post a lot of really interesting behind the scenes stuff. But this is definitely my most anticipated for the month. Again, it's called Viewfinder. I love games about photography. We need more of them. Especially when
I feel like that's like 50% of all indie games.
I want like photography. Well, I can't call this a photography.
Did you see Lush Foil Photography Sim from the Annapurna Showcase?
I am very excited for that
right
because it is using real life lens, like focal lengths, and all the technical kind of videography stuff, or I guess photography stuff in this case. And that stuff excites me because, okay, I can dial in my f-stop, and I know that if I lower that number, I'm going to open up my lens. There's gonna be more light in the lens, and I can get, that blurry background. A lot of games that have photography don't do that. I'm not Viewfinder, I don't think does either. But you got me thinking about that photography sim that Annapurna announced, and that is like definitely up my alley. It's almost like you can go to all these like really neat places and get these amazing photographs without the need to go and hike somewhere.
One of them, a place that you and I went to, and you took real pictures. Actually, was the Fushinari Inari Shrine in Kyoto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that we went to in January.
Yeah,
you already did that like for real.
I
you
did
took a bunch of pictures.
But this time I don't have to be out of breath when I'm climbing the mountain because that is a hike. But yeah, so Viewfinder, back to that. I'm really eager to play that. Anything else jumping out at you all for July?
Remnant 2. I liked Remnant from the Ashes. I beat that game with 2 friends because it's like a 3-player co-op game. I'm excited to see what they do with the sequels. I think the first one's pretty solid and fun. Double Dragon, check that out. There might be an NGT up. I don't know. Actually, I know
coming soon.
If not already.
Yeah, I think it might be up by the time this airs. And actually, a Gravity Circuit, which is I did an NGT, I think with Wes with this, but it's like this. Actually, Kyle, this might be up your alley. It's do you like Mega Man X?
Only with all of my heart.
Yeah. What if you took that and maybe threw in a little bit of Ninja Gaiden in there too, and you had a cool robot that had a grappling hook and blew up other robots that were not good. It looks cool. It comes out the 13th. I guess this week.
Is that coming on Switch? That just feels like it's so weird. I think we've talked about this before, that I don't know what makes me think something it belongs on Switch necessarily, but it's like I want to play that on Switch. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's on PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Cool. But that's one that I thought looked really cool when the premiere trailer came out a few months ago. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And I'll shout out Venba as well, which is the sort of like family cooking game where you play as an Indian family that resides in Canada. It's got a really like pretty art direction with these bold colors, sort of telling a story about this family through cooking. I think that looks cool. So, and Disney Illusion Island. Almost forgot. That's also
that's what I was going to shout out.
I thought I had more time for all of these.
That's the one that like I'm very interested and excited for, but I haven't touched it. And that's going to make or break that game, right? It's like if it's fun to control.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's what I've seen so far of it. Makes me excited for it for sure.
Yeah, Venba. Back to that just for a second. That game looks really good. I feel like we don't get. I know we get a lot of cooking games. We don't get like recipe building games all that much. And this specifically is like, I don't know, it just looks very in depth. There's like recipe cards for every recipe. It's supposed to like tell the story that is like about this family and their culture and like the dishes that are special to them. Like it seems like it's gonna be cool. I'm excited to play it. But that's probably it for me for the month.
Yeah.
Jump
what-
to August.
Yeah, I was gonna say The Expanse also comes out this month. That Telltale series.
Yeah, I've never seen the show.
Me
so
neither. Yeah.
I've heard good things about it, but I just
Yeah.
can't get excited about it. You know?
That's fair.
I don't know if that's the place to jump into that franchise, right?
That's
Maybe
fair.
it is. I don't know, but
August. Probably the number one thing for me would be Baldur's Gate 3. Did you all see the showcase over last week?
No, but I heard about the bear.
Yeah,
Sexy bear time.
Sexy Bear Time. That game looks wild. You know, they're showing it off. I mean, very much. That game obviously has been in early access for years at this point, but I have held off. I've had access to the game, but I have not played it because Larry and I love their RPGs. I love playing them with friends, and I feel like if I played it in early access, I would be like, okay, I got it. And I wanted to have the full experience from the start.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but that game looks really, really fun. Specifically, like, I know a lot of people love the relationships and all of that, and that's cool. I think the bear sex scene it was a druid, to be clear, listeners, but it turned into a bear mid scene.
Does that make it better?
I mean, I think it's yes, because it's gave its consent versus just a wild animal. It's a druid that has a human brain, human conscience.
Okay.
I don't know if they're human, but they
Oh, you're opening a can of worms.
I
now.
know. But it's like I just love that turn-based combat that Larian does, and all of the different permutations and physics interactions, and the verticality. They're showing off like playing in like this very like woodland village, and they're just showing off like people fighting on rooftops, people inside the interiors of the building, and it's got me really excited for that combat system and the depth that it provides. I'm very eager to play this. Yeah, but I can't say anything else because I haven't played it in early access. So
yeah, I can't say anything because I'm not going to be late until September when it comes to PlayStation.
That's fair. Yeah,
it's my month to talk.
Well,
about
your
it.
new PC, you could
Yeah, I feel like
No?
old habit. I don't know if I have it. Maybe I will. But I want to shout out. Maybe the game I'm most curious about, even if I don't know if I'm excited, is Atlas Fallen. That like sand game that they've only showed gameplay of like once, and it got delayed to August
from May.
And then in between that time, they've released the first gameplay and have not said anything. So I just kind of want to know, like, is that happening? Because that seems kind of soon for them. It feels like now would be the time to really ramp up marketing and be like, here's a bunch of trailers and all that stuff. But as far as I know, that hasn't happened. And it sounds cool, but that game seems like a weird oddity, despite it being kind of like a, maybe not AAA, but like at least like high AA, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of those. It's like, are they not talking about it because they're so busy sort of working on the game and making it cool, or are they not talking about it because their
Something we
internal
don't know.
expectations are low?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd forgotten about this one, Marcus. I'm glad you called it out. But like looking at the trailer, it's like, yeah, this does look cool.
Yeah, like all your weapons are sand basically, and you're just using sand to, like the world looks cool. Yeah, it looks so cool that again, it's like, man, it's kind of weird that it feels kind of quiet, and it's not. It's a month away now, actually. So
Yeah, but that silence could be confidence. Who knows?
yeah, WrestleQuest for me. I want to check that out. The pro wrestling RPG. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot. Yeah.
The 8th. Curious to see how that wraps up.
My two big ones for August are Immortals of Avium, which is another
yeah.
kind of one of those. Like I have played it and it played well. I went and visited the studio a couple months ago. But like like the big thing I'm curious about is like what is the story going to be of this game? Like, am I going to be emotionally engaged in this thing? Like, is the world that they've built interesting? Because the combat's pretty solid from what I played.
The main character screams a lot. Seems emotional.
I mean, that's right. Kratos screams all the time, and we love him.
I played it at Summer Game Fest. I think the biggest thing that my takeaway was the like puzzles in the game are pretty fun. They're very they're not hard, but they're very satisfying. There's one where I had to cross this gap, and there was this closed fist that was in the middle of this canyon, and I had to use my abilities. So it's all the abilities are color coded, and you use that to solve puzzles. And so I had to use one of my abilities to like, I guess, manipulate. So the thing was glowing green, and I'd use my green powder to manipulate the fist to like unfurl and open up, and then jump in the fist and jump to the next platform before it closed back up. And stuff like that. I was like, this is interesting. I will
gets
say
me way more excited than it just being a shooter, like in a big way. I want it broken up with puzzles. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think like there's sometimes too many things on screen in the shooting segments, and like it feels a little slower than I want it to. But I don't know how you'd get around with that, because there's just like so much. You're like weaving spells and stuff. Like you wouldn't be able to get those really cool animations if you sped it up too much more. You know. But I am interested in that game. I think the story is going to be. I
don't know. Right?
I don't know.
A lot of former Telltale people work in there, and you know.
I did not know that. Okay.
Oh yeah. That's one of their big stories was like when the big Telltale layoffs happened. Like they were geographically close, and the game's director like literally found them in a bar commiserating about their bad day, and was like, "Hey, let's do some interviews. Like, come chat with me. We'll get some of you guys in here." So like a lot of the narrative directors like are former Telltale people and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
so, which is cool. Like would be really good. You know, Telltale. Was good at telling stories in video games.
Yeah, I won't write it off. I think some of the trailers and stuff. I was like, oh, this protagonist is really talky.
Right. Yeah.
But hey, I haven't played the full thing. It could totally be great for all I know.
The other big one for me is Sea of Stars, which is late in the month that we did the cover story on that recently. I wrote the cover story, so I played like the first 6 hours of that game, and it has stuck in my craw. Like I want to know what happens next. You know, like I had to put the game down, and I was like, not fair. Why won't you guys let me play the rest of this game that you are clearly still working on really hard?
Yeah,
but I when it comes to RPGs, I'm a sucker for the 16-bit era, the Chrono Triggers, the Final Fantasy 2s, the Mario RPGs, which maybe we'll talk about later. So the fact that that's such a throwback to that era specifically, and I really enjoyed what I played, I'm excited for Sea of Stars.
Yeah, I want to shout out, even though this game's already out, I'm excited to play Vampire Survivors on Switch as someone that doesn't have a Steam Deck and doesn't want to play it on my phone.
Yeah,
I want like a legit portable option for Vampire Survivors, and I will gladly replay that game all over again on Switch.
Yeah.
So, also, Bomber Cyberpunk.
I was gonna say that the 18th, I believe, Bomber Rush Cyberpunk is coming out.
Yeah, which is Jet Set Radio 3, as they really call it.
Yeah.
Wink, like wink emoji, right?
Yeah, dude, it looks so good. What was that? That one Jet Set Radio game that came out in like 2017, 2018. It was it was not like the actual IP.
Inspired by. Okay.
Yeah, inspired by. I played the hell out of that game, even though I don't think it reviewed well.
I thought of Brink for some reason, and I know that's not what you're talking about. That was earlier,
it's gonna drive me up the wall. Oh man, but Bomber Cyberpunk is
Neon Tail.
Oh no. Neon Tail. Actually,
I googled Jet Set Radio inspired games.
It's on Switch. I know it's on Switch. If that helps your search. But Bomber Cyberpunk. Dude, it looks so fluid. It's got like the wacky characters who are just super stylized and vibrant. I cannot wait. Yeah. Give me a skating game any day of the week.
I've been curious about Goodbye Volcano High.
Yeah.
And that's when it's been floating around. Like they announced that at the PlayStation 5 reveal, like presentation. So this has been, and it's been getting delayed constantly. And I know they said that it, like pretty much because it's a small team, I think it's co-op, and that they've said that it has like just an ungodly amount of dialogue, and that's why it's been taking so long. Like it's just the scope of it is apparently very big.
Yeah.
Especially like you might not think that, I guess, because it's kind of more of like a narrative driven thing. This is the game about teenage high school students who are also like anthropomorphic dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Sort of like coming to grips with like the school year ending while there's also a meteor about to hit the planet and kill all of them. So it's like, hey, the world's ending, both like figuratively and narratively. What do we do? Like, how do we, you know, come to terms with
such a change?
Yeah. So I and the art looks good. Like the animation and stuff looks pretty high quality. I want to see what that finally like is. It's like I've seen gameplay, so it's like I think I know, but you want to see it kind of like in its full form. So I'm excited to check that one out.
It looks like a visual novel, right? Very visual novel-y, right?
Yeah, it's got some like and some rhythm music stuff too, because the main character's in a band.
Yeah, very curious about that one.
Also, I found the game I was talking about. It was Hover.
I have not.
Did you all play that one? It's published. It was published by PM Studios and Actil. But yeah, it was not a very good video game, but I still played the hell out of it.
Okay, I brought up the wrong Hover. This is for I found a 1995 PC game. I was like, is this it?
There's a Hover racing game as well. Yeah,
this does look very Jet Set Radio. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It kind of looks more like Reboot to me, actually.
That's fair.
Even better.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I think we're forgetting a big one. Maybe we're not forgetting it yet, but Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. I wrote the cover story on this. I am very much looking forward to playing this game. I know some of the YouTube comments, suggest that I hate this game, and that is not the case at all. I feel like I said I was still excited for the game despite some reservations, and that is true. I'm excited for this game. Specifically, I just want to see all the cool bosses.
I'm like kind of a recent From fan. Like it wasn't really until like Dark Souls 2 I finished it and I was like, I think I like this fine, but it really wasn't like a Sekiro, which is like I love this, right? That was the first time I was like, this. Even Bloodborne didn't really click for me, but Elden Ring I absolutely adore. And so like From a new From game is exciting, but I'm not like big into mechs in general, just in video games. Like I have never found one that I really love. I also am not really big into customizing too much, even in Elden Ring and stuff. Like
you're not a loot guy.
No, I'm not a loot guy. Like I kind of find what I like early and stick with it.
Sure.
Which I imagine Armored Core will probably totally let you do that if you want.
1,000 to the 9th degree, yes.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things where it's like on paper I don't know if it's really my type of game, but it's like I want to play it and see if it clicks with me and like. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah,
it's like,
No, I'm where you are.
Here's a list of things I don't usually like in video games, but I want to try this one and see if maybe I like it in this particular instance.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Though I don't mind what the like loot stuff. Like I don't have those same hangups, but like it's like, oh, I love From, but it's because of like Soul stuff. I've never played Armored Core. I was always aware of it, but just never played it. So I want to go back and see what a Armored Core game looks like in this version of From. And like, obviously, I'm not expecting a Souls game because it is very much not that. But I just kind of want to see, like, okay, let me see what the Armored Core fans like so much about this.
Sure.
You know, let me see if this maybe if it does it for me too.
That's fair. I love mech games. I've played mech games my whole life. Mech Assault 2, Lone Wolf. I had like my first virtual girl. I had my I had my first virtual girlfriend on Mech Assault 2. I would log on and, we'd play Mech Assault together. And then one day she never logged back on. And I don't know what happened to her. For what it's worth,
if you're listening, let us know.
For what it's worth, I don't remember her name. But it was my first online romance. Then Chrome Hounds. I played a bunch of Gundam games on like the PS2 and PS1. I played a bunch of the Armored Core games, and then I kind of like took a break on on mech stuff for a
I played
while.
Metal Wolf Chaos, the best mech game ever made.
There you go. So this
Also
is like
a From Software game, actually.
right, yeah.
they used to pump out a lot of mech games.
Wait, real
So-
quick before we move on, just in case anyone doesn't know what Metal Wolf Chaos is, Marcus, can you give just like the one sentence elevator pitch for that game, just real quick?
You play as the U.S. president, and you all have a mech suit, and you're trying to save America from your vice president, who is evil and also has a mech suit.
Cool. Okay, then we can move on. I just wanted to make sure
And
that
it's
people.
the greatest. It may have the greatest opening cutscene ever. Like I actually reviewed the remaster that they
nice.
did like years ago for Screen Rant, and that game is a gem.
it's just gonna be like the 2040 presidential election, probably. you know?
we get closer to it every day.
Yeah. Well, cool. There's also one last thing. Shout out to one last thing in Game Informer magazine. Last page of the book.
I like that page. It's fun.
Yeah. August 29th, Under the Waves comes out. That is published by Quantic Dream. I don't believe it's made internally by them. Maybe they were brought on early on. But anyways, I played this game at Gamescom last year, and it's a narrative focused like exploration sort of game about really like three people. Two of them are underwater diving partners, and they work for this big company, and they're out in the dead of the ocean, the dead space of the ocean, doing work for this big industry. And so like a lot of like quiet, solemn moments. It's not a horror game, but there's definitely a lot of themes of like loneliness and stuff. And then there's one of the main characters has a love interest who is back on the surface, and they're kind of like their relationship's kind of on the rocks a bit, it seems. And the developer's Parallel Studio, by the way. It's part of Quantic Dream's new Spotlight label, which is their indie more indie focused label. Same ones that are publishing Lisfanga, which I talked about at Summer Game Fest from that coverage. I really enjoyed that. So far, that Spotlight label seems to be coming out with some cool stuff based on what I've played. But yeah, Under the Waves, that comes out August 29th. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
Yeah. And there's like some really cool moments where it all takes place underwater, right? So you've got like your underwater boots that like keep you on the ground or whatever, and then you can seamlessly just
the
start
iron boots from Ocarina of Time.
Exactly. I mean, pretty much that's what they are. But then you can seamlessly just go from that to just jumping and swimming, and it's almost like you're like flying the way you're swimming. It's neat. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. September, that's the next month after August. That's my understanding of how the calendar works. What's the surely there are no big games in September.
Especially not September 6th.
Surely.
Which is, funny. I mean, I made the joke about Baldur's Gate earlier, but I do plan on playing that game on PlayStation 5. I have no idea why it's coming out the same day as Starfield.
Yeah.
Because that's I mean, on one hand, it's like, yay, I mean, I'll know by then whether or not Baldur's Gate 3 is good or not.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll know whether or not I should really be excited. I've never played a Baldur's Gate 3, so I don't have any this will be my first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Starfield.
Have two games of that scope ever released on the same day that are like, these two games are gigantic and they're coming out on the same day?
Did it?
I don't know.
Maybe it was like didn't Skyrim and Arkham City come out the same day? Or am I making that up? I know they were the same year and the same holiday schedule, but they weren't the same day, were they?
I think Skyrim got 11/11/11, and
right,
they laid claim to that date. They're like, no one else can have this date. 11/11/11. Dreamcast had 9/9/99. We got 11/11/11. Everyone else backed off.
Remember when they tried to do it again for Starfield? And they're like, actually, we're going to delay it a year.
Yeah, we can't. What they wanted to do what?
We tried.
22.
Okay, Arkham City was October, by the way. Okay, I don't know why in my head I was like, did that happen? But yeah, I'm sure it's happened. I just can't think of any other time. But again, that's it. Only PlayStation Baldur's Gate fans have to worry about that. That I guess also own an Xbox. But yeah, Starfield's that is the biggest one. I can't imagine that game. Almost feels like impossible to finish by the time Game of the Year comes around. Like that's the intimidating thing, is like I need to get through this so that we can talk about it and like finish it probably.
Yeah.
Or try to. And even though it's coming out early September, it feels like I feel like this should have came out in January and I would still be playing it now.
Right.
I feel like I have a sense a little bit. And granted, they've gotten ahead of this because they've talked about there are thousands of handcrafted planets. Everyone handcrafted.
You can see the fingerprints.
And then they've come out and they've said, okay, well, some of those are like empty planets and like
it's more like 10 handcrafted.
They're like
the rest are randomly generated.
Yeah,
like, it's like the realistic, like in the universe, like how many planets are going to be this lush thing and how many of them are just rocks.
A lot of them, from what I understand, you just land, get some resources and take off and go to the next one.
Yeah, which
so,
I mean, No Man's Sky is that too.
Exactly, but I have a feeling marketing got a little ahead of themselves with Starfield when they were like 1,000 handcrafted planets. Look at all, and then they're like, whoa, hold on. Like let's reel it back a little bit.
To be fair, handcrafted doesn't mean full of things. It could be a rock that was handcrafted.
Yeah, but I feel like it implies something.
It's not. I mean, yes, but it's like that is not a synonym for packed with content.
That is fair. That is fair. I just feel like in modern marketing, games marketing, that sends a certain message.
Yeah. It's funny. I actually was like, Starfield was one of those that's like, I bet the people who play Starfield are gonna have a great time. Like that was sort of my thought process around Starfield. But that in the summer showcase where they kind of did the deep dive and everything, and they showed off like more of exactly what the game was, I was like, you know what, I'm excited for this now. I think this looks cool. I like the idea of having my own ship and flying around and like just attacking other people and boarding their ship and stealing their stuff. Like that does seem cool. And like and it's only kind of recently that I've been like, I'm excited for this game. I'm gonna play this right when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm a massive No Man's Sky fan. Love that game. My voice just cracked. I'm sorry. But
you're getting emotional. You love No Man's Sky.
It's true. It's true. I'm very much looking forward to Starfield. It is for one, I just want to shout out the UI artists who are working on that game because I think the UI looks sick. It's got like that 70s retro sci-fi, a retro futurist maybe is the right word. There's a lot of styles that use the word retro and future in them. But yeah, it's like that 70s sci-fi look where there's like really smooth curves and like that really sleek iconography, like grayscale stuff. It looks awesome. And it's definitely kind of speaks to, I think, like the level of detail that they've got going on here in this game. And I hope it lives up to my expectations. I think there's certainly a world where it does, and then there's a very sad world where it is more like a No Man's Sky at launch, where it's like, man, this thing is really flawed. There's like a lot of potential here, but we'll have to wait several years to get there.
Feel checked. Like I have that mindset of No Man's Sky at launch combined with like it's a Bethesda game at launch too,
which has a lot more resources than Hello Games did.
Yeah, and it's like, and I say this as a Bethesda fan. Like I love Elder Scrolls Fallout.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but like I know what you get with those games at the first few months. So like I still don't believe that it's going to be. I know they've been swearing up and down like it's going to be the smoothest Bethesda launch ever. Which on one hand, it's like that's really stepping over the little bar there. But,
step over that low bar, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, cool, but like if I see something weird, I'm not going to be like, how they lied to us. I'm going to be like, yeah. Of course. This game is like
there's going to be bugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like there's a line of like Skyrim bugs where it's like, oh, this crazy thing happened. And then there's like Fallout 76 bugs where it's like, this is making it unplayable.
Yeah.
And as long as we're in the fun bugs on the sort of Bethesda
Yeah,
scale,
I'm
like,
good.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine
backwards
with that.
flying dragons, but now it's like a spaceship flying backwards.
We'll happily accept that. Yeah.
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 And with spaceships, it's like, oh, maybe it's got a special kind of hyperdrive. It's just doing that, you know?
I gotta find that and put that on my ship.
Yeah.
I hope that we find out that the ending of the game is that jetpack scene that got leaked, like the dialogue about jetpack
I haven't
sex.
seen this. No.
Oh, what?
It was like a leak or whatever it was, but it got out that apparently the game it was rated M because of like sex content. And there was like a line of dialogue that got up that said something. I'm going to paraphrase. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was like two characters implying they had just had sex, and one of them saying, "Let's try it without the jetpacks next time." And that like lit the internet on fire, being like, "Wait, what? What?"
Science fiction, man. Anything's possible.
And there's no context for like when that happens.
Put that on a T-shirt,
like,
man.
If that's like in the early game or mid game, I hope it's the ending. I hope it's the final line of dialogue. Like that is your reward for solving whatever the threat is in the game, and then you end with like jetpack sex with your partner, and that's like the last thing you hear.
It's like the end of Eyes Wide Shut, is what it is basically, but with jetpacks.
That's what Todd Howard's big Eyes Wide Shut fan. I
loves Kubrick. Love Kubrick.
Oh my god.
I guess he probably would have to be to make this, honestly.
So we are getting into after September through November is ridiculous. So instead of going through line by line on this calendar, I'm going to encourage people to go and bookmark GameInformer.com/2023 if you want to see all of the games on there. But like, let's just like talk through the highlights real quick. I know, Kyle, you have an appointment to get to after this.
Yeah, but you guys can always just kick me off and keep going if you want. That's
true.
fine.
I do have to change all the overlays on OBS if we do that. But
well, the nice thing about that is that's no work on my end.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I'd say it would probably be easier just to kick Kyle off, and then we could just.
Okay, let's do that then. So what else? What else in September?
I mean, come on, Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, that looks good. I played that game.
Me too.
Yeah, dude, I haven't played a Mortal Kombat game in a while actually, but I'm really looking forward to this.
Did you not play 11?
I mean, I dabbled.
Okay,
but I used to play Mortal
trilogy.
Kombat. I used to play Mortal Kombat like a decent amount. Used to watch like all the media as well, the movies. I actually haven't seen the animated stuff, but I hear that's
the
really
animated
good.
movies.
Yeah, I hear that's good though.
The Scorpion one's good.
Yeah.
Any
characters you're particularly interested in playing with Mortal Kombat 1
that have been announced or that I hope get in the game?
that have been announced?
I really liked using Katana, who's always been a favorite of mine in this game, and also Liu Kang, like his sort of revamped moveset with his fire god powers was a lot of fun.
His fire animations look sick, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
They look. I mean, that game looks great. This is the first next gen only, or I guess current gen now, Mortal Kombat. It's also coming to Switch.
I guess it is. Right.
Yeah, it's not coming to last gen, but it is coming to Switch. Funny enough. I don't think we've seen that version yet, but yeah, it played great. I mean, it plays like a 2D Mortal Kombat game of the last 10 years, but like, tightened up. I like the sort of tweaks they added to the characters. The tag team stuff seems fun. I'm excited and also dreading fighting online and seeing how people take advantage of that and how just like disgustingly good they get with combining the tag maneuvers, because even the bit I played is I was kind of figuring out like how I can extend a combo by like, I'm gonna call in Kano and he's gonna do his ball thing.
Yeah. And
I was just like, even I can see the potential for like some real nasty some nasty stuff I could pull off. So the meta game and like seeing which combinations people work out, like you got to put these two together, man.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And more than anything, the story. Mortal Kombat has gotten to the point where they've earned where like you're as excited for the story as you are for like the competitive side. And with this being the clean slate and just the idea of getting to see this new universe, you're like, all right, I'm excited to see what's different and what, like how, this is the template for the series going forward pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to get in there. I love their story modes. I love the MK lore. So
yeah,
it's going to be great.
Yeah. A couple other September ones. I haven't tried the demo, but I'm just kind of waiting for the final game. Lies of P. I want to see what that game is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played that at Gamescom as well. I liked it a lot.
Okay, cool.
I played. I didn't finish the demo, but I played it. It seems solid. I need to play more of it, but it feels like a Souls game.
All right, that's good. And such a weird premise. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll at least start it and see where that goes.
The design of the city and the bosses look really intriguing to me.
Yeah,
I like the weird mechanical enemies. They look cool.
Yeah.
I also, Marcus, you sat in with me on a new gameplay today for Eternites, which is like kind of caught me by surprise. I was like, I'll check this out. And I was like, I kind of want to see where this goes. It's like a dating sim in the apocalypse but then all the combat is like pretty fancy, like looking action combat.
Oh,
So you're running around doing like action combat in like apocalyptic underground Japan, and then you get on this like train and you have conversations with coming of age teenagers like about like their trials and tribulations, and you're developing relationships and presumably pursuing romantic options with them, and then you run back out and fight some more apocalypse monsters. I was like,
I'm still haunted by
I like
that.
what I played.
I'm still haunted by that girl's death in that NPT. She got
right.
just like
Yeah, there's someone who
mauled
gets
to death.
brutally murdered in the beginning of the game, just to let you know that it's real dangerous out there. But that one
Yeah.
surprised me. There's like a little bit of Persona in there. There's a little bit of like action combat in there and dating sim. It seems cool.
Can I call out a Cocoon at the end of the month as well? That game looks
Thanks.
really, really cool. I've had my eye on that one
That's-
since it was announced like a year ago.
that's
also
Annapurna,
got-
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and it's
I think
also
so.
got some an ex Playdead
Okay.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, designer, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the game where you're kind of like you're in a world, but then you can jump out of that world into another world, and then carry the world that you were just occupying as like a big marble thing.
That's
And then you
neat.
can just kind of keep doing that and using it for puzzle solving. It's like, imagine if the end of Men in Black with the marbles was like gamified more or less.
Yeah.
That's just such a wild idea. It looks cool too. I like the art and all that good stuff. So I'm pumped for Cocoon.
Hell yeah. I didn't realize that was the mechanic. I've only seen screenshots and I'm like, oh, looks gorgeous. Annapurna. I'll give it a try. That sounds really awesome.
I think it's it for September for me, pretty much.
Yeah, I think so.
There was one other I wanted to highlight. I'm interested in party animals. It's been a long time since I've played a game like Gang Beasts.
Right, it's like Gang Beasts kind of inspired, right?
Yeah, it's honestly I thought this game was out forever ago. But it's just like got a really like flat color palette, which reminds me of Overwatch in a lot of ways. I've been playing that game a lot lately, but very like low contrast look, and it just for some reason makes all the characters really pop in a really fun way, and it just honestly looks, the art style in particular, just I want to have that on my screen. I want to be playing it with friends. It looks like it's gonna deliver fun vibes. But yeah, it's a physics-based party game that I'm very much looking forward to playing. It's been a while, like I said, since I played one of those. I'm sure it'll be like a weekend of fun and I'll be good, but I'm looking forward to that weekend of fun.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. What's next? What's the next month? October.
The pretty packed October.
Yeah, my 10th anniversary happening on October 12th, y'all.
Oh, congratulations.
Put that on the
Wedding?
calendar.
You mean like marriage?
Marriage anniversary, yeah.
Oh, okay, not 10th anniversary of you being a person, because you're older than that, I think.
No, yeah, those are birthdays as well.
Hey, you can play
yes.
Assassin's Creed Mirage on your anniversary.
That's what I'm planning to do, you know.
Not even include her. Just
Yeah, just do my own thing. Yeah,
Famously
absolutely.
single player franchise.
Yeah. I will be a single player after that, you know. Write that timestamp down. That's gonna be on TikTok.
I'm going to play Assassin's Creed Mirage. I am an Assassin's Creed fan, even though I didn't really play Valhalla. I played like the first few hours and then bounced, but I've beaten damn near all of them. And I'm excited by the idea of them scaling back and going back to the formula of the earlier games, like pre-Origins. I am worried about like how seriously they take that. Like, I hope they add to that too. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's not just literally Assassin's Creed 2, but it looks nicer and it's in Baghdad, because that's cool and all. But it's like I would like some modern stuff, because like even watching the trailers, like even if it's been a while since like we've gotten one of those, it did feel like maybe too familiar at times. Like, okay, yeah, you're running, you jump, you swing on the little thingy that's in the corner. Like, I remember doing that a lot, and hiding in the
how
crowd.
How far will that nostalgia take you? Right.
Exactly. Before you go, oh, okay, it's one of these. And then, because even like that got more interesting as the series went on, but like Black Flag and Syndicate, with the two characters. So that's kind of my only real worry about that. Is like maybe they pivot too hard the other way and don't make it feel new again. It just feels like an older game that just came out,
Yeah. By the way, did you see that Kotaku report the other day that they're remaking Black Flag?
I did.
Yeah.
That's a weird decision.
That's my favorite Assassin's Creed, so I'm
It's
excited.
probably my second favorite. It's in my top 3.
I love
Black
that game.
Flag.
It is so much fun to exist in that space.
It's so much fun because it's barely an Assassin's Creed game. It's just an amazing pirate game that remembers it's an Assassin's Creed game in like the 4th act.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was such an odd choice, though. It's just like, well, I mean, as much as that one is liked, it's like, why that one? Why not?
It's like it still holds up pretty well.
Think they want to remake 2 first, but
or even the first game, because that's just to make it better, basically, right?
And
like
use a remake, yeah.
Which I can see because
2 is where
almost that, but
2 is where they lost me just because of the scale of that game. It is so big and so long. I feel like, at least it felt that way back when I played it.
I mean, by Assassin's Creed standards, it's probably pretty short. I bet.
Yeah,
that's true. And I have not played. I have not played. I don't think I've completed an Assassin's Creed game for a very long time.
Last one for me was 3.
Yeah, I've played several of them and enjoyed
them. Which honestly
them.
is probably like, I mean, even though you missed out on Black Flag, it's probably still a good stopping point because that's when the real world fiction was last interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like Assassin's Creed 2, 19 hours according to How Long to Beat, which is like that's like the tutorial of like Assassin's Creed.
Is that for main mission or side stuff?
That sounds right, though.
Completionist is 35, main 19, main
like I don't remember Assassin's Creed 2 being some 50-hour epic, because I was pretty thorough because I loved Assassin's Creed 2.
It felt like that to me back in the day.
That was actually the first game I ever got a platinum trophy for, was AC2, because I was so in on this. I did all the truth puzzles. I found those stupid feathers. Like, I was so into what that game was doing, and I'm a history nerd, and I love the Italian Renaissance, so I was like, I need to see every inch of this world that they've meticulously recreated. Like, I can't, like, that is my favorite Assassin's Creed by a mile.
You know, instead of remaking Black Flag, they should just re-release Unity and be like, actually, this one's new. You guys did this.
If they rewrite the story, that'd be great. So I was so bored by Unity.
You know?
And they picked a great, like, the French Revolution is an amazing time period to do an Assassin's Creed game on, but like the core like assassin story, and that was so dull to me. It's like that was at the point where it's like, maybe we just make cool historical games and just take out the Assassin's Creed stuff.
No, sure.
Because that just has stopped being interesting after the Desmond stuff ended. Like, let's just let this be a cool French Revolution game. Yeah. You know?
But no, I am excited for Mirage. I will be spending my wedding anniversary exclusively playing it. I am a fan of the old Assassin's Creed games. I know 4 is like a departure from that, and I love it for that departure. But like, if you're talking like core Assassin's Creed games, like,
well, I'm curious because I thought you said 2 lost. You were like, that's where you exited. I thought you said
2 I did exit, and maybe it was because of the story or like that gameplay though. I really enjoyed.
So good in 2.
I think I played. I keep in mind, Marcus, this is back when I was a dumb Call of Duty guy. Okay. No hate to my Call of Duty bros. I still play Call of Duty, but this is when I was specifically a dumb.
Appreciate art.
I was a dumb teenager. This is what in my Modern Warfare tournament phase. Okay. So there's certainly a possibility that I was just, not at the place in my life to appreciate that game, right?
You can handle those truth puzzles. They were really hard.
But I do remember I would like just run around like a playground in that game. I love the parkour. I love the stealth, and I would just like make little challenges for myself and like, try to get caught and then get away and like I just love that core loop. I love stealth games. And I think like going back to that format is really exciting for me, especially now. I have more media literacy than I did back when I was playing Assassin's Creed 2 at the time.
You got to go back. That should be a super replay. Is you giving Assassin's Creed 2 a real
like,
chance.
Oh, this is great. I love it. It's like my new favorite game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How about I just go play those old Call of Duty games I used to play? That also sounds fun.
Hey, video games are fun, man.
They are. They are. But I am excited for that. The very next day, Lords of the Fallen is coming out, which that game, I didn't play the first one.
I did.
But from That was actually kind of I wasn't quite in my I wasn't really a fan of Souls games at that point.
You were playing Call of Duty at the time, right?
Yeah. I don't remember when Lords of the Fallen 1 came out, but
It's like 2014, I believe.
okay, yeah.
The dark year. We don't
That
speak
was
of.
actually 2014 was when I was playing Assassin's Creed 4 multiplayer. If that like tells you where I was at in life. I was playing that, and I was playing Splinter Cell Blacklist multiplayer.
I played a lot of Brotherhood multiplayer. I'm not a big multiplayer
Brotherhood
guy.
multiplayer is underrated.
Yeah, it's very similar between those two games.
Yeah. It's about like hiding and
hide and seek.
I'm still mad. They should bring that back for Mirage.
And I was real good at it because I was a Splinter Cell player, like Spies vs. Mercs, and Assassin's Creed was like that, and Blacklist were like my two. Those are the games for me in 2014, and like a Need for Speed game that I got because I got an Xbox One, and I wanted to play a next gen game.
Yeah, to be fair, 2014 famously weak year. Those might have been your best options for the most part.
Lord of the Rings, right, was in there. Battle of Middle Earth.
Dragon Age Inquisition. Though the real game.
I did play Dragon Age Inquisition. I like that game.
Yeah, the real game of the year was Bayonetta 2, and I will die on that hill forever. And no one ever. I still resent that it only came down to Dragon Age and Middle Earth as like the media's option. Like Bayonetta 2 is right there, and that game is incredible. But it was on Wii U, so nobody played it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing Lords of the Fallen. The monsters in that game look. This I feel like is going to be the first Soulsborne game that Bloodborne is very scary. But this looks like horror, where I feel like the other games, a lot of them are more like fantasy, or they lean in, like Sekiro obviously is less fantasy, but different kind of fantasy. This feels like it leans more into that horror design. I remember watching the trailer for this first time for this game and just having feeling like a creeping, like just a icky feeling on my skin. Not quite goosebumps, but just aware of my flesh by looking at this game.
Right, yeah. Well, hey, I got a roll, but I do want to shout out Alan Wake 2. I love the original Alan Wake. It was the first game that I got early to write about. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I wrote a freelance feature for Games Radar, and I was like, hey, I have this pitch. It's related to Alan Wake, so when Alan Wake comes out, I'll write that feature,
Yeah.
And the timing was right. And he was at whoever was, I don't even know who I was speaking with at Games Radar back in the day, but they're like, actually, we have a couple copies. I'll send you an early one. And it was like, I felt like I'd won a contest because I was like, I'm getting a free copy of Alan Wake in the mail early. And so that game's really special to me for that reason. And it's also a very good game. And I like Remedy. They're a good developer.
They are.
So excited to finally return to the world of Alan Wake. We're overdue for sure.
Absolutely. Me too. All right, Kyle, you're going to get out of here. We're going to take a quick break, and we will catch you on the other side. We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? Drive too fast, and you could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing. Because one way or another, speeding catches up with you. This message is paid for by NHTSA. All right, and we are back. Thank you for being here with us, everyone. Let's keep going, Marcus. So we left off at Alan Wake 2. Endless Dungeon is actually the next on our release date calendar. That comes out October 19th. This is another one I played at Gamescom last year. Really enjoyed it. So the interesting thing about Endless Dungeon in particular, or the Endless series, is so the team was the same team that worked on Humanity, which is that 4X game that came out in 2021, something like that. And all along, the team wanted to work on Humanity, but they kind of had to ramp up and get to a point where they felt comfortable making a 4X game. And so they told me they broke down the various elements of a 4X game. So it's like, okay, you've got, combat, we've got top down, just think about all the aspects of that sort of game. And they're like, let's try to break it into different games, and we'll make a little side series called Endless. And we're just going to learn to make this sort of game in these various chunks. And then once we're ready, we'll combine them all for our next big project, Humanity. It's it ended up being almost 10 years of making these endless games. And now endless is what they're known for, and humanity is almost like the side game that they made because they kind of blew up from like how much people loved the endless series. So there's like endless space. There's several, but endless dungeon is the latest in their big endless universe, and it's a top-down isometric action roguelite with like dungeon crawl elements, but a big emphasis on like tower defense. It's a lot of words, and it's co-op as well. But I loved it. It instantly shot up my list of what I want to play. And effectively, you are going from room to room, and you have effectively you're moving this. I don't remember what exactly it is. Let's say it's a crystal, right? Because that's effectively what it was. Your goal is to move your crystal from one spot, from the first room to the last room of this space station, and it's like progressing the story and all of that. But your crystal is vulnerable, and that is what enemies are going to try to target. In addition to like your obstacles and stuff, their end goal is to destroy your crystal. And so it's this game of charting along to the next room to find out what's in there, to see if is this the way I need to go. Think like derelict space station. Although there are very vivid, beautiful places in this space station, but that is the vibe, right? It's like, all right, it is not safe here. We're gonna delve into the dungeon, right, and go further and further deeper into the space station. And as we go, the horrors and the baddies are going to increase in potency. And it's just such a fun gameplay loop of, okay, let me bring my crystal into this room. Okay, I need to set up turrets around it to protect it. Maybe one of us hang back and kind of guard it because there's going to be waves of enemies coming. And maybe another one of us will like scout ahead. But there's only so many resources we have for building. Maybe we want to like do a shield turret, or maybe we want to do like more of a traditional turret that's going to like shoot enemies, right? And it's all of these like little decisions, and it was a really compelling loop, and it made me really excited to play Endless Dungeon. So I'm very much looking forward to that in October.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen I know I've seen at least a trailer or two. It looked interesting, but I didn't know if it was really on my radar. It's
Sure.
one I'm gonna have to wait to hear what people say about it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Totally.
One little known game, World of Horror.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool. That's the for those that don't know where, it's like a very like the art is very much inspired by Junji Ito, who's like the legendary horror manga artist. If you've ever seen his work, you can best describe it as what demented mind came up with this image.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's very much got that thing going on. It's kind of like narrative text, not text, but like narrative driven horror game. I'm trying to think of how to describe it, but like also in role playing a bit. It just looks cool and weird. I want to see what's going on in there.
It's been floating around for a while. I remember seeing that game at PAX East 2019.
It's a roguelike. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's coming to PC and Switch. Maybe
that,
other play.
I'm very excited to play that. That is a horror game. I mean, you know me, like I'm very timid with horror, but like that style of art. I mean, I've seen those books on Blake's shelf when I go to his house. It's Junji Ito is what you said, right? Yeah. Blake has like a whole collection. I've like looked through them.
Oh yeah,
they're so compelling to look at.
I believe that.
Yeah, the black and white gruesome imagery. It looks really cool. And I'm excited to play it too. I didn't realize it's coming out that month though, but it's cool.
Yeah, and it comes out one day before Marvel's Spider-Man 2
and Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yes, actually, dang, too bad Kyle left because he was just asking about like Baldur's Gate and Starfield, like two heavy hitters coming out the same day. Turns out just 1 month later, we've got two huge games dropping, two very different games, obviously two console exclusives as well. Yeah. So that's pretty much how they can get away with it, right? Yeah. I will be playing both of these on day one because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, my favorite superhero, and I love Mario.
My plan is to start up, like maybe play Spider-Man for 2 hours, get through the opening, missions, and then all right, I need a break. Let me go play Mario, and then I'm gonna play that, and then I'm gonna probably take a break to eat, and then I'm gonna jump back into Spider. It's gonna be a good day.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like a weekend too, so it's like you get the whole weekend to play those 2 games. But thanks for talking about Spider-Man specifically. I love the Insomniac game. It's my favorite Spider-Man. I love Miles Morales as well. I thought that was arguably better. And yeah, seeing them come together for this and seeing what they do with the Venom symbiote stuff, and Kraven's cool to see.
Yeah.
By the way, have you seen that Kraven movie trailer?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I heard. That was the response I got from people, and so I didn't go watch it.
It's in the same vein of like, oh, maybe these, between the Venom stuff and the Morbius thing, maybe we just don't make solo movies of Spider-Man villains. Or maybe Sony shouldn't. But,
specifically them.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I wasn't blown away by the trailer, but I did like him in this game. He looks like the Kraven I want to see in this video game.
Hell yeah!
I
thought it was really compelling opening. That whole mission was really. Granted, it was several missions cut up together, but
yeah, I'm still wild
cool
that they showed him the black suit like just out of context. Like I get why they did it to show off the symbiote gameplay, but it's kind of weird. If like seems like that would be a big story moment of like when he gets it.
Yeah, I was like, did I miss something?
It was like you assumed he would because that's just how that story goes. But like, I was just kind of like, huh, okay, well,
just show it. I guess
they said the same thing of like people know where the symbiote story is gonna go. So
yeah, and then maybe that means that their twist or their reveal is something that maybe is even cooler or different.
I mean, we already know Eddie Brock's not Venom, which I mean, if you played the first game, you probably guessed that.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe they're just like, all right, let's get this out of the way. This is happening. It looks like it's like pretty early game. Maybe they get that out of the way and then they get to focus on the other stuff,
right?
Which is cool. Like that works, I guess. But yeah, it did take me back as well.
Also,
oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna segue.
No, please do.
I was gonna say, like, speaking of being taken aback, the first time Mario became an elephant, shock and awe.
Yeah,
you could say.
I love Mario Elephant. I felt like I was looking at in the mirror.
Republican Mario, as we call him now.
No.
He's got a red hat and everything, and he's an elephant.
He's cuffing season Mario. He's big boy Mario.
He's Babar Mario.
They heard that we needed a big boy, and they delivered.
Yeah. Are you too young for Babar? Remember the cartoon show with the elephants?
I'm not that young. I'm 31. I'm almost 32.
I mean, you never know. It takes a year to miss a whole generation of entertainment.
But yeah, I am too young, Marcus, to remember that. I don't know what that is. Okay. But I just wanted to poke back at you, I wanted to say, hey, I'm only a few years younger than you.
Tend to do to your elders.
You're only like 3 years older than me.
4.
Oh, you're counting. We were counting, huh?
I mean, yes, because you posed a math-based conflict.
Okay. I thought you were 34.
I'm 35. I'll be 36 this year.
Wow, you're old, dude.
Yep, that's why I was the only one qualified to talk about. Wait, what? Didn't we have an old joke earlier?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of something? I don't know. But Mario Brothers Wonder, which I still have something about saying that name in full feels weird in my mouth. I still feel like it should just be called Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah, it's not a great, like, when you're chewing on those words, it's like, it doesn't feel as good as Super Mario Wonder.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder feels like the Bros, or like if you go Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
That sounds better.
It sounds like an incomplete sentence about wonder. What do they wonder about?
Yeah,
Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And
that's true. What do they wonder?
You're waiting for the rest.
That's fair. Yeah.
So yeah, but name aside, the game looks sick. I'm so glad it looks so weird. And
absolutely, yeah.
Because I enjoyed the new series, but by the time the last one came out, what was it? Or I guess technically the Luigi expansion would have been the last one, which I thought was fine. And I think U's the best one of those, but they're pretty safe. It's kind of like it was just a really polished 2D Mario that maybe for the most part doesn't have like a ton of identity, just kind of like just good Mario game.
I mean, Super Mario's U, it really took me back when the girlfriend died at the end of season 1. just like really took me back.
I had to really chew on that for a minute. I was like, what are you talking about?
I didn't see it coming, Netflix, you know?
Yeah, it's canceled after one season.
There was season 4. Thank you very much.
I don't watch you. I'm just Netflix does that a lot. But
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I like how weird they're going with the Wonder Flower and the world like looking like a trippy acid thing. Like, you know, leaning into the whole joke about Mario eating like psychedelic shrooms basically.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we're getting Chunky Mario again.
He's back, yeah, man. He's
back.
He's
for a while they were like they thinned him out, they made him taller. He's more
I like that the characters are more expressive.
Yeah.
Like before they just kind of felt like you said, like just kind of plain avatars, but like seeing like every time Mario does something, you like the delight on his face or like surprise or whatever. Like all the characters just look like they have a lot more personality, which is appreciated.
It felt like there was a really big pass done on the animations to kind of just make them very different from what we played before. Or at least recently, because it feels like a lot of them, like a lot of the 2D Marios, have kind of like, okay, this feels like the same set of animations. Granted, like obviously, like I'm not implying there's copy and paste. That's not even how animations work. But like there was obviously work done previously on them. But this feels like just a total refresh. And
like his jump looks different.
Yeah,
it's like the same but different.
And I'm excited by that. So yeah.
I also want to see the elephant forms of the other character. Like, I want to see Elephant Yoshi. Like, what nightmare creation does that look like? Because he's already a dinosaur, so it's like an animal turning into another animal.
I'm wondering if maybe they don't all turn into elephants. Maybe they each have their own.
Like another animal?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the power up looks like an elephant. Like the mushroom is like an elephant mushroom.
That's true.
They can't rob me of elephant like Luigi and Daisy. And again, I want to see elephant Toad.
I mean,
look like?
They made them all cats before, so yeah, they're all gonna be elephants. You're right. You're right.
See, they got away with that because those were cat suits. Like they look like just onesie pajamas that were cats. Yeah. But like Mario is an elephant. Like it's not a suit.
Yeah. It was like total like Shrek transformation. Exactly. No suit involved. Pure.
It was agonizing for him.
Skin converting to flesh moving about. Yeah, it's
the sound sickening.
Yeah, gnashing of teeth. It's not
trunk
pretty.
Growing out of his face.
Yeah, screaming in agony, blood spewing from his eyes as they get bigger.
They showed that.
Yeah, it was rated M Mario.
Rated M for Mario. That is true. That's not wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna play this, but almost feel like I want to shout it out for the people that care. City Skylines.
Are
you a City Skylines? City Skylines 2, I should say.
I should be a City Skylines fan because of my history with certain games like that. I was a SimCity kid.
Passionate.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, Sims. Like I love games. I love city builders. I love games where you get to express your creativity, but city sims in particular, city builders require more than just like your own expression. Like it requires strategy, right? And they are pretty hard. And I skipped City Skylines 1. I don't remember why. But it was always a game was like the one that got away for me. I'm like, man, I would probably really love that game. Like I even if you like boil it down, like I love oh God. It was on my top 10 list last year. I can't believe Mindy Motorways. Like that's even like a obviously a very condensed city builder, very simplified. But I just love that loop. And I love the challenge. And so I feel like I'm telling myself I'm going to play this game because I want to. It's just like it's a commitment because even just one city is just like, all right, this is going to be like an ordeal, right? It's like opening up a game of Civ. It's like this is
like, this is my life now.
I am for the next month. This is my thing. If I want to really dive in,
right?
And that's I think what Skylines 2 is gonna require. And I want to say that I'm gonna play it. It's wishlisted right now for me. So
yeah, I mean maybe not at launch, but you'll play it.
Yeah. And you know what? Like aside from Super Mario RPG, jumping ahead a little in November, that's really like the only November game that I'm like for sure want to play. I know there's a lot of other great stuff coming out, but like Mario RPG is the only one that's kind of on my personal list. I know Like a Dragon Gaiden's coming out. I feel like I still want to catch up on Yakuza before I play that game.
That would be a weird one to start with.
Yeah. I mean, I played Like a Dragon, really loved it. But I feel like I want to. I don't feel the need to jump into that day one, right? Like I'll play it eventually, probably. But so City Skylines is kind of like caps off October for me personally. I know there's like the Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection is coming out. That seems cool. The Alone in the Dark 2023 game.
Yeah, that actually I do want to play.
Yeah. Okay.
So as a fan of survival horror,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
like I've never played an Alone in the Dark game, but the series is obviously one of the forefathers of survival horror, like pre-Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So to kind of see them going back and almost seeming like they've been paying attention to those Resident Evil remakes a bit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to get in there and see. I like getting scared. I want to see if they can spook me. And it's got the David Harbour. I mean, what else are you gonna play?
Forgot about that, dude.
David Harbour.
Yeah.
As a hard-boiled detective.
Yeah.
It's like I like him as an actor, so it'd be kind of fun to do that.
And Jodie, what's her name?
Jodie Comer.
Yeah. She's on. Oh, what's that show?
She was in Free Guy.
Free Guy, or the movie.
The movie Free Guy.
Yeah,
Killing Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew she looked familiar. That you'll have to tell me how that is. I'm not going to play that game, but I want to know like how their performances are, because I don't think either of them have been in a game yet, right?
I know David. I was in the press event for it, and they had the interviews with both of them talking about it. And I think David said this is his first.
Okay, yeah. I'm really curious how that goes for them. You'll have to keep me updated. All right, and then we are in November. There's a couple of, I think there's like a Star Ocean game coming out.
Yeah, remake of Star Ocean 2.
Thirsty Suitors is coming out November 2nd. That's the game that is it follows Jala, I think her name is, something like that. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but she is kind of dealing with parents who are trying to, I guess, have certain expectations of her. I know like I think her sister's getting married, and it's just all about like fighting off suitors, like confronting old exes, like I guess like coming back and like making friendships again. Like it's just like about like culture. I think they describe it as like it's about culture, it's about like narrative and family. And then there's also like this combat system and like skating mechanics. It looks like a very interesting game. It's from Outer Loop Games, same folks who made Falcon Age. So I'm interested to play that game. It looks neat. Again, that is called Thirsty Suitors. How you feeling about a new WarioWare game on Switch in November?
I've never really played a Wario game. Like the only one I've ever touched was the Wii one with like some friends. But other than that, I've never played any of them. So I've always felt like wanted to every time there's new. It's like I should check this out because I know a lot of people like them and I have friends that are super into them. But
yeah, I feel like WarioWare games are hit and miss. They very much depend on which mini games are in it. Like one of my friends was like really into the GameCube one, so I played that one a fair bit. I know WarioWare Gold people love. What was the one? There's so many WarioWare games. I can't remember which ones I've played, but I'm a person who dabbles in that series. Like I like the quirkiness. I like mini game based games. Like I was a kid who loved Mario Party growing up, so like WarioWare was kind of a natural fit. I will say like I don't know if I'm ready to play a new WarioWare game, but I think I'll eventually like check it out. But I'm not like dying to play it. But another party game, right? Can't go wrong with WarioWare. Yeah. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name is coming out November 9th. How you feeling about that one? You excited?
I I'm still wondering if I'm gonna play it just because I like Yakuza, but I've only played Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Like a Dragon, the last
Okay.
game.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I've
yeah.
played the earliest
Yeah.
and the latest in the timeline. I've never played. Well, I guess 0 is a Kiryu game, but I haven't played like the I guess the main Kiryu saga of 1 through 6.
That's
And this
fair.
is set. This sort of fills the gap between 6 and 7. Sort of like, hey, this is what happened to him. You know, like why he shows up in 7 and stuff like that, and also lays some groundwork for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth next year. So it's like, I want to play it from that angle, but like I do want to make my way through Yakuza 1 through 6 at some point, and I haven't been. I mean, I kind of know how Yakuza 6 ends, but not like in detail. So
Yeah.
it's like semi spoiled, but not all the way. So I don't know if I want to spoil it all the way with this one, or even if I'll have
Sure.
the context for what happens. If that's what this game is addressing, is like, hey, how did he get out of that situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, this might be skippable, but we'll see. I don't think it'll be super long. Like, you know, those games tend to be pretty lengthy, but I don't even know if I'm saying that with any knowledge, or like I just, something in my gut tells me that it's like, oh, it's probably like a smaller game, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So this next one, do you know the story that's going on with The Day Before? Are you aware of what's going on with that game?
I've heard it described as this year's Abandoned. If you
Yeah.
remember Abandoned,
Yeah.
the game that everyone was convinced was a Hideo Kojima
Yeah.
horror game, and then we also thought it was a new Silent Hill game, and everyone was accusing the developer of lying, and then the developer didn't do himself favors by kind of leaning into those rumors a bit before being like, no, none of that's true. And they released that weird app on PlayStation that was like nothing, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that a little bit. I don't know if it's as, you know, maybe you know more about it. It's like, I don't know if it's
I do.
as potentially fraudulent as Abandon has been accused of being.
No, I think I think they got way too ahead of themselves. Oh, am I frozen for you?
You are, yes.
Okay. One sec. When did I freeze for you? Was it just now? Was it recent?
Probably like 20 seconds ago.
Okay, we're fine. We'll keep going.
Yeah, but since I was talking, I didn't know if you were just listening.
Just intently,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
I'm always told I'm a very stone cold listener. But so yeah, the deal with this game, it was supposed to come out earlier this year. It got pushed back. That people were starting to accuse it of not being a real game.
Yeah, this is like a zombie survival game, by the way, for context.
Yeah, like think like a DayZ, that sort of
Yeah.
game. And those are like my kind of games. I love those games.
But I think story driven, right? Like it's not like a multiplayer thing from.
Oh no,
or
it's
is it?
it's an MMO. Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
it is.
a,
Oh yeah, oh it's an MMO. That's right.
it's like an M. Is a I think they describe it as like I'm looking at the website. Quote, an open world MMO survival set in a deadly post-pandemic America.
Yeah.
And this was a game, it was like for a long time, like it might have been even at one point like #1 on Steam's like most upcoming, like they kind of rank based on what's wish listed and stuff
Right.
in their upcoming games tab. This was always at the top. And then there was like some weird stuff where they were talking about they were gonna have to like maybe change the name because of legal stuff or something like that. So they're just gonna push the game back to the end of the year. There's a lot of stuff that was weird about it. And all the while, like nobody had seen gameplay in action yet. Like it was just like screenshots, and people were like, "Is this a real game?" And the developers would be like, "Okay, well, we're gonna publish gameplay like this date. Get ready." And then something would happen. There was like a whole there's this lawsuit narrative. They're like, "We can't show you anything because of the lawsuit." People were just like, "Just show us proof that this is a real game." And so since then, they have like put out videos that like, I mean, there is certainly a game being made. Whether or not it is going to be ready for November, who's to say? But they've like put out weird clips. Like they just put out a clip the other day. It was just a video of a car driving down a street, just racing. It was just like a montage of racing clips. And the top comment is like, "This game has the talent of looking completely different every time we see it." So, you know, it's a game being made. Will it be ready for November? I hope so for them, because If not, they are probably going to lose the last of the goodwill they've got.
My
from
gut tells me
players.
it won't be.
I think they could maybe they're in a situation where they launch an early access in November.
I mean, I don't think that's what they're saying. No, I don't think that it's been framed as an early access launch, from what I understand.
Man, I
I
should
think it's
go.
framed as like the game is done, right?
Hold on, the day before Steam page. I want to see what the latest is on their Steam page. I mean, these people have put out games before. They put out Prop Night. They've worked on a couple of earlier, smaller games. Like they've published games.
Okay. I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah. The company is fantastic, is what it's called. Without the A.
That's the name of the company. Not
Yeah.
you're not complimenting them.
Yeah, that's the name. Hold on, the day before. Let's see. But they've started putting out vlog. They're trying to be more transparent. So like, let's see, the day before, because now I'm curious what the latest update has been. I can't even find it. Oh yeah, that's right, because the lawsuit they had to like take their page down, I think.
But that was a while ago, right? Has it been brought back up yet? Or I guess that's still ongoing. Like they still don't know if they have to change the name or not.
Something like that. Huh. Yeah. Their website doesn't link to Steam either. It's just
I mean, that could delay the game on its own, really.
yeah. Oh, I forgot that was like part of it.
Right.
I don't remember if it was the name. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the name or it was something with the IP. They were having troubles. But yeah,
Well,
that game is allegedly coming out November 10th.
Yeah,
and it
it'll be
doesn't have a
called
Steam page.
It'll be called the zombie game formerly known as The Day Before.
Yeah. I feel bad for their marketing team. Like, think about like all the buzz you generated with that name originally, and then now you have to change it. That sucks.
Yeah,
That's rough.
Gotta check those names, man. Google.
Yeah. Persona 5 Tactica is in November as well.
That looks cool. I won't play it just because I haven't played Persona 5, and I feel like I absolutely should do that first.
Yeah, definitely. Play Persona 5 Royal first.
Yes.
That's on my list too. I can't. I'm telling you what my friends have told me, that I'm not allowed to play any of these games until I play.
Yeah,
And I
games at all.
I love tactics games too. So,
Me too.
Yeah. And then lastly for November, Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
Remake, of course.
Dropping the subtitle.
Yeah, dropping the subtitle. I'm excited for this. I never played the original Super Mario RPG.
I've only played the first hour of it.
Yeah. So I feel like I should. Isn't it on the Switch library, the original?
Like on. Oh no. Wait. No. It's on. I want to say the last time it's been moved was. It's on the SNES Classic for sure.
Okay, that's what it was.
Because I have that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the last time I like really looked at it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think it's come to the SNES library on Switch. I'm pretty sure.
I think I was thinking of the
classic.
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to play that for really the first time with any substance. I think I also played it at like a friend's house a little bit, or I might have like checked it out on an emulator at one point. I don't remember. But I'm excited to buy that game and check it out.
Same.
Yeah. There's a lot of Mario this fall, and I'm very, very excited. I love Mario. I really want Mario Odyssey 2. That Mario Odyssey 1 is my favorite Mario game, period.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love that game. And 2D Mario has never done it quite like 3D for me. Mario 64 was like, I had played other Mario games before that. Like my friend had a SNES, and I was blown away by Mario. But when I had it myself for the first time, it was in 64, and that was just like the way I played Mario. So it's always been like, when these new ones come out, the 2D Mario games, I'm like, I like these a lot, but I love 3D Mario is where my heart is,
Yeah.
But Wonder, of course, looks ridiculous, and I'm excited to play it. Anything else we want to tackle before we wrap up the show? I guess Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
I mean, that's a big one.
That is a big one. I don't want to just write it off.
I barely care about the Avatar world, but I'm curious about the game.
Me too. That's where I'm at. I don't.
It's like I've seen that first movie. I've yet to see the sequel. I'll watch it at some point, but I'm not like itching to watch it.
I don't give a single care about that franchise, but
it looks nice. That's like the biggest compliment I can lob. It's like, those creature designs are creative and
the world.
Pretty,
I like the floating islands. That is cool to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say was there anything in sort of the coming to be announced side that you wanted to highlight? Like these are games that don't have
Oh, man.
dates that are coming out in 2023 allegedly.
Yeah, at the top, Angerfoot. I played the demo of that on Steam, one of the recent Steam fests. I really liked that.
I think Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, the Don't Nod game, the ghost.
Yeah,
that looks interesting.
I'm looking through now. El Paso Elsewhere.
Yeah, the sort of Max Payne inspired looking.
Yeah, did they
game.
do we need to update our SKU? Have they put a release date on that?
Not since I last checked, but I mean we could check again.
No, they haven't. They haven't. It's still, the Steam page still says planned for 2023. That game looks cool though. Max Payne.
Max Payne. Let's see. I'm kind of scrolling down to Ghost Runner 2.
Gunbrella.
Yeah, Gunbrella looks cool.
Pepper Grinder.
That game also cool. Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
Maybe this year, maybe.
Metal Slug Tactics. That was supposed to come out last, December, right?
Yeah. So something. I don't even know. It never had a date. I don't think it's ever had a real window. It's just kind of been like maybe this year, and then just kidding.
Maybe that's what it was.
Jusant.
Yeah.
I think we talked about Jusant last year. That's the other Don't Nod game, the climbing game. That looks pretty cool.
I don't think we're getting it this year, but Stalker 2. I was looking forward to that.
I'm starting
game.
to doubt that we're going to get that this year.
Yeah, I don't think we are.
That was also supposed to come out last December and delayed. Nine Souls by Red Candle Games. The makers of Devotion and Detention. That game looks pretty cool. It's supposed to come out later in the year. Myth Force, like the 1.0 launch for that, which is the sort of like Saturday morning cartoon multiplayer game with the really cool art direction. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties Definitive Edition.
Sure. What else? I'm looking. I'm down into the
Replaced. I forgot that Replaced.
Oh yeah, that is not coming. But
yeah, it's like that's technically still coming this year, but
The Wandering Village. I was reading the IndieInformer.com.
With the dinosaur city builder thing.
And John Carson, former Game Informer editor, now working with Joe Grote, other former Game Informer editor over at the IndieInformer.com. They had a piece recently. I guess we're getting news on the Wandering Village soon, I believe.
Okay.
And then lastly,
Sonic Superstars is a big one.
Oh yeah.
I forget that doesn't have an actual like.
It's kind of floating. It's kind of floating around.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
There's also that Wayfinder game, which is being published by Digital Extremes. Airship Syndicate is making it. Who made Battle Chasers Night Wars? Did they do Ruined King? The League of Legends story.
Oh, the League of Legends. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think they did.
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah. That game looks interesting. It's like a social hub based MMO. I want to check that out. There was a closed beta test, I think, recently. From what I heard, game looks cool.
SteamWorld Build.
Like Dauntless. Oh, SteamWorld Build. Yeah.
I got to play a pretty lengthy preview of that for a magazine preview a month or two ago.
Yeah. How was it?
It was fun. Again, another city builder, but like in that SteamWorld universe.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. I think that has a potential to be a silent hit.
And have they hinted at when that might come?
No, not yet. It's still 2023, like vaguely. Okay. But I was sorry. I jumped to the Last Faith. Have you seen that?
That sounds Last
It's
Faith.
like 2D sort of like.
Oh no, I haven't.
looking
I haven't.
Action game. It popped up at one of the Summer Games Fest showcases. It's been floating around for a while. I know we wrote about it last year. But that game looks pretty rad as someone that just likes that style of game.
Yeah.
The Invincible.
It reminds me of Blasphemous. A little
Blasphemous. Bit. Yeah, we skipped over, but Blasphemous 2 comes out this fall as well.
Yeah.
So for those fans, but yeah, I just threw out The Invincible is one I've kind of had my eye on.
That's that,
I know that has a demo right
narrative game, right?
It's like a sci-fi. It's based on a book. It's like a space game with the sort of like retro futuristic look to it.
Blake write a feature or a preview or something on that game? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, this might be the biggest one. The Plucky Squire. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, that game looks so good. Sorry, I was looking at the Steam page for video viewers might hear desktop audio for a second. I was looking at
the Invincible.
I was looking at SteamWorld Build. I was wishlisting
okay.
it, so I didn't forget about it while we were
Right.
talking.
But the Plucky Squire, maybe up there my most anticipated indie game. Really indie game like that. That's the game where you play as the storybook
Yeah, you're
character
jumping
that jumps
out.
Yeah, you go from like 2D to 3D world. It looks so much fun.
It's the Swords of Ditto team, right? Or the same artist, right?
Oh, I don't think I knew that, but now that you say that, because I beat the Swords of Ditto, I was like, yeah, that does look kind of similar, so that would line up actually.
Yeah.
Total War Pharaoh, Total War games are big deals,
Sure, yeah.
and I like Egypt. Talos Principle 2, I'm excited for. I really like the first Talos Principle.
Yeah.
I didn't think that game would ever get a sequel, honestly, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that. I think it was the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, it was. I was as well. But I love 3D puzzle games. Give me more.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's more or less it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This is just for you and me, but Turnip Boy robs a bank.
Yeah.
Turnip Boy's back, baby.
I like Turnip Boy.
I like that. That first game is very simple, but there's
fun.
something about it. It's like a stupid charm to it.
Yeah, it does. All right, Marcus. Well, I think we're kind of winding down on the show, if that's all right with you. I do want to get into housekeeping real quick. Let people know that, of course, you can go and follow us we're on. There's been a lot of social medias popping up the last month or two. Game Informer.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I don't know why. Game Informer is all of the places it's always been, but we are also now on Threads. I believe we're going to be pretty active on Threads. It's the new Instagram competitor to Twitter. We're also on Blue Sky if you're on there. I am on both of those places at It's Van Aken. Marcus, I don't know if you're not on those places yet, are you? We talked about this last week.
Just Twitter.
You can follow Marcus at Marcus Stewart 7.
Significantly less exciting.
Yeah, but if you're on Threads, follow me there. Follow me on Blue Sky. I'd love to talk games. And Kyle, don't forget to follow Kyle. He's on all of those platforms too, I think. At Kyle M. Hilliard. Don't forget to go grab single issues of Game Informer if you want a physical version over at GameStop.com/Game Informer for $5.99 a piece, or grab a digital subscription. And then follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Game Informer. We stream Fridays. That's our replay series where Marcus and Kyle play through games. And then shout out lastly to our podcast editor, Matt Storm, aka DJ Stormageddon. Their links are in the description on the website post. You can go and listen to their podcasts. Check out their website if you're looking for a podcast editor. And then go listen to All Things Nintendo, which is our weekly Nintendo podcast, hosted by the one and only Brian Shea, who I have to go and have a meeting with after this. I'm going to meet at a coffee shop with him. That's why I need to jump off here. But go listen to that show. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Shout out to NHTSA NHTSA for sponsoring this episode. We got a one last ad at the end of the show here. It'd mean a lot if you listen through for us. But yeah, Marcus, thank you for joining me, man. And I will talk to you next week.
Yeah, see you then.
All right. Bye, y'all. If you speed, there are lots of sounds that you might hear, like the sound of your vehicle crashing, because eventually speeding catches up with you. This message is paid for by NHTSA.